Conversations with Malik podcast show, coming to you from New York. We're glad to have you and thank you all who are listening or watching this show. This podcast is about the stories of transformation of regular people during the basic struggle and pain of life. Everyone has a testimony. We all have survived the darkness. Now let's talk about how we got to the light so we can help our brothers and sisters who still haven't overcome their demons. But guess what? Talk to me. We all have devils on different levels. So through conversations, we use the tools of insight to light the path of hope. Let's have a chat and stop running from our issues. If we live through it, then talking about it probably won't kill us. That's what we're doing. Talking, crying, looking inward so we can grow outward is the theme of this show. Right. The caterpillar transforming into the butterfly is the goal and purpose of this podcast. When you talk about you, I learn about me. Iron sharp as iron, steel sharp as steel. So we can cut through the fog of despair into the hope of today.
Everyone have a testimony. We all have survived.
Welcome to Conversations with Malik. And before we start today's show, please don't forget to follow us at convoswithmalik.com, convoswithmalik.com.
Instagram, ConWMalik.
Yeah.
There is no excuse.
Stitcher, Apple, iTunes.
There's no excuse.
The YouTube channel is up, and we're going to be really posting regularly. Yes. As soon as I figure out how to get these videos up, I'm gonna be posting up. And
but we ain't doing bad though.
And doing my spiritual talks, so they're gonna be coming up regularly because people are hitting me up like, "Yo, Malik, I'm more of a YouTube kind of guy, and I just want to, watch you on YouTube." Yeah. So, so I'm gonna have those coming regularly because now I got the Mevo right here, man. I could just look at it, do my talks, upload it right away.
That's it. And we like to expose our guests too, man, and make sure we push their envelope as well.
No doubt.
We pushing our envelope, we push their envelope. Our guest is our family.
No doubt.
So anybody that come here is pretty much family.
Yes.
Of course. And so we have, I want to thank Kareem for all that he does with the engineering.
Kareem the Dream.
And the sounds and the great job that he does.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank Wendell for what he does with the, the video, and he can't be here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He hurt his ankle.
Justin Moss.
Justin Moss, the social media and website
That's
guru
right.
who's doing excellent job with the imagery. I mean, the imagery on the web.
I was looking at that. I thought at first I was thinking we probably hired somebody else after I seen all of that.
Yo, that's Justin. Justin is definitely
dope,
pushing the envelope. So I'm really happy for everybody's support. Tracy and Malik's Bus Company, Laugh and Learn Cheese Bus. Where the finances come from to make this whole thing possible.
Yeah,
and listen. Tonight we have a special guest in the house.
Special guest.
We got, am I saying the name right? Kamel Ellis.
Yes, sir.
From One World Fest, right? In the house, right? And we're going to talk about all of the great things they're doing. And back with him is one of the family members. We got Lisa Ray. And thanks for bringing him. You said you was gonna bring him.
Yeah, we talked about him coming too. Yeah.
And we had a great show. And we're gonna talk to One World Fest Global about all of the wonderful things that they have going on. We're gonna talk with this brother about his life. He has a very interesting story.
Yeah.
And I'm honored when people want to come on the show because
I'm honored when people even give us back this, questionnaire. We do need it for the show.
Yes, sir.
To help us kind of steer the wheel, kind of get familiar who we have with us. And I feel like I know this brother already. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, he's from around the way.
Yeah.
So, we probably seen him just in passing.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes it's like that. It's just organic. You know, like you always say, it's just meant to happen. It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident.
No doubt.
It's meant to happen.
No doubt, man. And so, we always start the show with today's word of the day. And I had a bunch of word of the days lined up, but you came with positive. So how could I,
Yeah.
And I just did a show. And in it, I was talking about accentuating the positive and eliminating the negative.
And I wasn't even thinking at that. I was actually thinking about our guest that's coming on the show today. you know, because he been through some trial and error.
Yes.
You know, and he still managed to contain himself and still be positive and push the envelope of what he's doing with this, you know, One World Global. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. So what we do is we usually take about 30 seconds to a minute to talk about the word of the day. So I'll pass it to our guest to the far right.
Yeah, since I'm the one that actually came up with the word,
I'll give it to Lisa Ray, and we'll come on around and we'll expound on positive.
Yeah, positive to me is like,
No, I'm giving it to Lisa.
oh,
Okay.
go ahead.
Ladies first.
Well, when he said positive, you know, and earlier he said positive K. What your man got to do with me?
I got a man.
No, I don't. But I do have a man, Jesus. That's my man.
Okay, no problem.
What does positive mean to me? In spite of trials and tribulations, keep our eyes on the prize, stay positive, and we can overcome things. So no matter how dark it may look at times. So that's what I think about positive.
That's deep.
What's up, brother Kamel?
I mean, for me, when I first heard the brother say it, it just took me to a conversation I was having earlier with a good friend of mine, Wade Lindsay. We would talk about Nikola Tesla, and it made me think about the work he's doing with electricity and consisted of positive and negative, you know, atoms and neutrons and things of that nature, charges, positive charges. And we here, you know, I'm welcome and glad to be here on the show with you guys. I'm honored to be here and to be amongst people trying to be a positive charge out here in the world, in the universe, man. So I appreciate that.
Deep.
No doubt.
That's what made me think about.
No doubt. And you know, when I think about positive, I really think about, like, you know, how I look at things. I talk a lot about ideas and concepts, and you know how I think is going to actually, you know, it's going to hardwire my brain, and how I think is going to also determine how I feel physically, you know. And so I just try to remain positive, because if I'm in a positive state, I'm actually adding, that's addition. So I'm adding value to my life.
Adding on, absolutely.
I'm inspired, so then I can create to add to what I have. So I just try to remain positive, because then if I'm the opposite, if I'm negative, I'm just taking away. That's takeaway.
Yeah.
So,
Deep.
you know, yep.
Yeah, positive to me, man. It's like, I say that's every day. Like, I always say, you know, I try to keep a positive mind state for the most part. Positive people around me. I'm thankful to have, you know, good friends that'll check me if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right.
Right.
Normally, most of the time, I'm checking them. But I feel good, man. I always feel like I'm positive. You know, when I wake up, I always feel like I have, you know, positive thinking. Things that I think about is always positive.
Right.
Try to be creative as much as possible.
Right.
And that's positive for me.
Okay. Well, listen, man. And how was your Thanksgiving, man? How was everything last week?
Yo, Thanksgiving was good. I ate at the house, you
Okay.
know.
Because we haven't done a show since.
Yeah, we haven't done a show. So yeah, we did the Thanksgiving show.
But since Thanksgiving.
Since then, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I ate at the house. You know, we sat at the table as a family with the boys, and after that, I went to my aunt's house because she had some food over there. She was cooking, and she had like a little, you know, some entertainment over there. So I took the boys over there as well.
Right.
But it felt good to be, you know, just be amongst family and stuff like that. My aunt is not really doing too well. She's been in the hospital and stuff like that.
Oh,
She
wow.
has
Sorry to hear that.
heart condition, you know.
Okay.
So she's having an operation tomorrow, so I just try to be close,
Right.
you know, as much as possible. But for the most part, that's what I did. How about you?
Oh, it was good. It was good. How about Thanksgiving for you guys? How was it?
Well, for me, I mean, you know what? I always look forward to Thanksgiving because I look forward to the food.
Okay.
That's what if you get to know me, you'll know I'll always talk about food. So even if I'm invited out, I have to have food in my house. And this year in my house or my apartment, I was alone this year. My son is in Virginia performing. He won't be back until January. My mom was in rehab at the time. And so I cooked really early so I could take her food because I was like, she ain't going to be in rehab by herself. I'm going to bring Thanksgiving to her.
Right.
So I always look forward to the food. And that's how it was for me this year.
That's real. Everybody's situation is a little different. How was it for you, brother?
It was great. It was great, bro. Always great to be around family. We do two things: go to my queen's house and her family's house early. They're the early family. My family's the late family.
Okay.
So, you know, that's a tradition at this point every year for the last 20-something years or whatever. You know, the fam.
Wow.
So
Right.
this is good. It works out. We walked right in. On my family, it was about to say a prayer and get around and say, because we the late family.
It's
you know
time.
what I
Oh,
mean?
the late,
Right.
the late family.
We the last ones to come, even for the late family. But
Right.
it was peace, man. It's always great to be around our families and
Yeah.
it's good to see them and vibe with them for a little while. You know?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And just kind of be thankful. We in the season. We in the holiday season.
Yeah.
And I just want to, stress to people, yo, man, listen, let's just be thankful for what we have, right?
Sound like a song.
Be as positive. Remember the reason for the season.
That's
and,
true.
and then also, be thankful for what we don't have. Because there's things that could have happened that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. Yeah.
Be thankful that you don't have cancer. Be thankful that you don't have heart disease. Be thankful that you didn't get hit by a car and you're crippled. I mean, if you could kind of reel off like 10 things that could have happened to you that happened to other people.
True.
That your son didn't get hit by a car and
Right.
killed. That
Right.
you. So let's be thankful for that we don't have grief. That we don't have
Yeah, that's a fact.
somebody that's terminal, that we don't have, and if you do have that, be thankful that you could be there for them.
That's true.
I mean, seriously, like, both my parents died in December. So December's was December's are rough for me, and I remember December's walking out of hospital rooms like, dang, man, a couple days and they're going to be, but even with that, I was able to be there. So that's my message to anybody out there. Whatever's going on, you could still find gratitude.
Stay positive.
Yeah. Stay
That's it.
positive.
Find some gratitude.
Yeah.
All right. And so listen. Last time Lisa was here, she's talking One World Fest. She was like really dying to get you back on here. So you must mean a lot to her.
I'm about to say
First of all, right?
Yeah.
To me as well.
And so, I just want y'all to just talk to me a little bit about what One World Fest is about and what y'all do before we actually start talking to you about your personal journey. And then we're going to bring it on through.
Well, Camille, you go ahead and get started. 'Cause
One World Fest is just a mission and a movement to bring people together, celebrate their culture, and show appreciations for other people's culture. In short, it came about because some years ago, I had another marketing company. I'm in marketing,
Okay.
primarily in terms of professionally.
Okay.
So I was asked through one of my mentors, Mr. Shabazz Fuller. There was an event going on called Kwanzaa Fest at the Jacob Javits Center.
Okay.
Happened in New York City.
Heard of that.
In the early 2000s.
Yeah, I went there once. Yeah.
They had asked us to put together some programs that would drive a younger demographic into the Kwanzaa Fest because they felt they were just pretty much appealing at that time to an older demographic. So we got together and put together Shabazz and my company. Put together some really nice events for the Kwanzaa Fest. We did that for like 3 years running. It was a pretty good partnership.
Nice.
Worked with the man, Mr. Jose Ferrer, who was the founder there, and learned a lot from him. Shabazz and I also traveled the country doing Black Expo with his clothing line, Shabazz Brothers, which is out to this very day.
Right.
Shabazz Brothers official.
Right.
So we traveled the country together on the road, driving to different cities, doing the Black Expo, did the Kwanzaa Fest a couple of years, put together some great events there, even brought a Latino demographic into the Kwanzaa Fest because there was
Really?
about during that time called the Barrio Boys.
Okay.
And we booked the Barrio Boys to perform at the Kwanzaa Fest. You had all these Latinos coming to the Kwanzaa
Nice.
Fest. The Javits Center.
Nice.
And that went great. And so Shabazz and I, he's one of my mentors in business, and we always stayed in touch. And we thought to ourselves later on, we should do our own festival. And just looking back at our experiences with the Kwanzaa Fest and Black Expo, definitely loved the Kwanzaa Fest. But looking at it, we thought to ourselves, the Kwanzaa Fest is great, but it's a niche festival. in such that only certain black folks even celebrate Kwanzaa.
That
including
is
myself.
true.
That's true.
That is true.
But it was a niche festival. We felt that
That
it
is
was
true.
only going to appeal, to certain people. But the principles of Kwanzaa are universal principles.
No doubt.
Unity, cooperative economics, collective work and responsibility.
Yes.
Purpose, things of that nature.
Yes.
So we thought to ourselves, let's take those universal principles and apply them universally to the festival that we want to do. So let's bring that together and call it the One World Festival.
One World Fest. Okay.
And don't we need a lot of that now in the day and time of a division
Yeah.
and divisive politics?
You think?
You know, and they talking about no, diversity isn't good.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, you really got Fox commentators on TV saying, no, diversity isn't good. It's what makes us alike is what bonds us. And you're like, what?
And so the deep part about that is I'm talking like we first came with that idea and that thought around 2009, 2010. And I still have paper from different ideas because being in marketing, being an idea business, we have ideas. Lisa and I go back and forth with ideas all the time because that's just what we do. We brainstorm off each other and just kick it. So that was an idea. The One World Fest was an idea. And we wrote it down and then went on with other projects and forgot about it. And not forgot about it, but it was always in the back of my head. So I was doing other things. And finally, it's like around 2015, going into 2016, I said to Shabazz, you know what, I'm going to take this One World Fest. I think it's something tells me, something moved me in my spirit. It was time to launch this idea. In 2000, so I'm going to start putting together a team. I'm going, talk to my lawyer. I wanted to do it as a 501c3 because I felt that by talking about bringing people together, it was a service.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a
non-for-profit.
service
Yeah.
Service to humanity in a way.
No doubt.
Service to my family, service to my community. So that's what we decided to do, and I started moving on it and putting it together. Lisa's one of the first people I go to in almost everything I'm doing anyway, and depending on how busy she is, because she's an entrepreneur, obviously, in her own right.
Right.
But just the idea, Lisa, I'm getting ready to do this. I'll sometimes just tell her months in advance or whatever.
Years in advance,
Like,
actually.
like, yo, I got this idea for something. So she knew about it. When I came back to her and said, I'm getting ready to do this now. Do you want to work and get together with me on it? And she said, it's my sister. And
So-
fortunately for me, she was.
So is it just putting on events, or is there actually a strategy of actually helping people and improving people's lives?
Awareness.
There's all of that. It's at the end of the day, for me, the One World Fest is an educational initiative.
Okay.
Because we're going to be educating people about people,
Information.
bringing information to folks,
Gotcha.
and definitely taking positions on certain issues that we feel are important, not just to the organization, but to the people we're trying to reach with the organization.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
You know what I mean? Millennials, young people. That's a lot of who we talk to.
Right.
With the One World Fest. So,
And
just
and
to
it's
your
open
point-
to all kind of walks of life,
Absolutely.
all genders.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's open to everyone, and that's what's great about it. Because I think we all, at some point in time, struggle with identity, right?
Okay.
So, I'm Black and Puerto Rican. My father's from Georgia. My grandfather was Jamaican. My other grandfather had some Italian. So I'm all mixed up. So it was always me growing up trying to figure out, okay, who am I? All right, what else? I'm rice and beans and collard greens. That's how I grew up. Again, I relate everything to food. But trying to find out who I am, going around my Black family and, they seeing my Spanish side, you know what I mean?
Right.
Going around my Puerto Rican family and they seeing my Black side. You understand? That
Yeah.
would stand out. So it's like, I remember going home one day saying to my mom, what am I? And she said, you're purple. Because she didn't want me to get into that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when Kamel came up with this idea, I was like, oh my God, like this is it. And we have, as he said, over the years, bounced off ideas off each other. He's helped me, I've helped him. But this
She's my mentor.
this one right
She's
here
Okay.
mentored me.
is where I connect my heart, my spirit really connected to this,
Gotcha.
because I've been trying to really find out who I am, the depth of who I am. I'm doing ancestry and all that. We trying to break it down. I had a family reunion 2 years ago, which brought so many of our family members together, which I couldn't attend because my mom was sick, but I still was able to touch the family, and now we're connected.
Right.
We need to know who we are, because if you don't find out who you are, you're gonna lose you'll lose the identity. down the road, you will lose it. So we
You don't know
need
where
to
you
know.
came from. How you gonna know where you're going?
No doubt.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
So for me, I was like, yes, yes. And all of the people that he handpicked to be on the team all have that same, like how I'm talking all excited and passionate, they have that same drive and passion about it. Shout out to my First Global team. So it's the truth.
But picking people to put together
Right.
a team,
I was just about to say that. I'm sure.
that's challenging.
I'm gonna assume cameramen is part of the team. People that do the social media is part of the team. A lot of bits and
Event
pieces.
planners.
Event planners.
Communications.
Well, I basically call my team, like, I have this concept called team of generals. It's almost like I got that kind of when I read about Barack Obama having written this book or something like that, where he talked about, or in his book, he talked about having a team of rivals. Whereas when he first went into the White House, he was surrounded by people who all had different agendas and they had different ideas on what his approach should be to the job.
Right.
So that was his was team of rivals. When I looked at the people that I picked to be on my team, or that picked me and agreed to be on my team, I should say, on our team. It's
goes
a team
both
of
ways.
generals.
They connected.
Absolutely, it's a team
Yeah.
of generals because all
good.
those people, from Ruel Burford to Leslie Jacobs to Shawnee Brown Dudley to Nefertaria Jones, again Shabazz Fuller, Yamis Fields, different people who've helped us along the way. My attorney, who's like my brother, we went to high school together, and he's my attorney, but that's like my brother.
And family.
These people all have their own lives, careers, entrepreneurial pursuits.
Gotcha.
So I call them team of generals because they are general in their own right.
Gotcha.
So I feel like for me, I'm a general, but I'm also surrounded by generals. And the only way to be a good general is first you got to learn to be a good soldier.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that first, and it comes pretty natural. Service is what it is. But yeah, so the team is serious. I'm blessed to really have them. That's what it's all about. The people that's around me.
So is some of what inspires you and drives you now is some of that based on some of the things that you might have went through in your past? Because I see here you talked about you went to prison when you were 16. So are some of those experiences from the streets, is that kind of like shaped you into who you are, that really, really motivates you to do what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just motivated on a number of different levels, but obviously, someone like myself who went away when I was very young, during some of my formative years, from the ages of 16 to 18 or 16 to 19, came home right a month before my 19th birthday.
Right.
So I did 2 years upstate, and it wasn't cool, man. You know? I just mean it's strictly from the standpoint of the loss of my freedom at such an early age.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I survived it, did pretty good, you know, in terms of the situation, and came out relatively unscathed physically, but mentally, I saw that it did have an effect on me. So I had to go through a process of cleansing myself from the different type of instincts it gives you,
Yes.
you know, in order to survive in there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, while I was in there, I always thought that I would just let that be a bump in the road for me and not define who I was as a person.
No doubt.
So I was never one to like come home. You know, I never really talked much about that, and never
Gotcha.
focused on that. When I came, I focused on what I wanted to do in the future. Like, this is just going to be a bump in the road. It's not going to define who I am as a person or a man on any level. But it still helped to, you know, give it. The one thing I got out of that particular situation was the ability to be alone and be at peace. So that helps me now, being in an isolated situation. It's so young, like a young lion in a cage, and I had to learn to focus.
And you still actually remember
Absolutely.
that period of your life.
Absolutely. I'll make sure I never forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now
If
if
you
we
knew the
can,
number, you might be able to get into my bank account.
Whoa. All right. All right.
Yo, man. You know, I'll make sure.
So y'all also reach out to, you got young people that are involved. I was looking on the website.
Advisory board.
Yeah.
And I was looking on the website, and you know, it's funny because we was talking about it. We had the cigar lounge here,
Yeah.
and they was
Smoking Leaves.
smoking leaves, and they was talking about their fellowship, and everybody wants to belong to something and be able to go someplace
Identity.
and feel like, yo, these people here care about me.
No question.
Right. And it's funny because when, this brother was like the other day, yo, man, these kids in these gangs, man. And yo, Malik, now, all right, our generation, it wasn't gangs, but then the generation before us
That's a fact.
was gangs.
Yeah.
And I kind of said to him, I said, yo, dog, I said, but I said, yeah, I wasn't with that gang stuff. I was more or less my crew.
Right.
But like we were still kind of a gang in the sense of we weren't blood and crip.
Some
but
people would consider that.
I relied on you guys for the bonding and everybody wants to be accepted. And so
Part of something.
is that something that you guys offer as far as when people come there, they feel like, I could be me and the people here understand me and I'm accepted here?
Absolutely. I mean, for us as an organization, first of all, again, the One World Fest Global, the One World Fest is an event, but it's also an event grounded in a mission, and that mission is to create a platform where people feel comfortable to come in and be themselves and be a part of something that's going to teach other people about themselves, who they are, because the way I see it, and if you know your culture, then you are free, because your culture takes you to a place where people that came before you survived and thrived, and you know that you have that same ability regardless of what you go through.
Right.
So it gives you a certain amount of mental freedom to know that you can survive and go through those things too. But if you don't know your culture, then sometimes you're lost and you're out here flailing, and as you striving to survive, you kind of trip and fall
Making
way more
a lot of
than is
mistakes.
necessary.
What actually
So-
got you into marketing? Because this is marketing started. That's pretty much what started your path.
The ideas.
Yeah, well, what got me into marketing was a partnership that I started with a brother named Life Allah when I was doing music in the. I had a showcase I was doing in the '90s because my brother wanted to get into hip hop and get in the music business, and he was looking for a manager, and he asked me to manage him, and I didn't know anything about management. I was trying to do architecture at the time because I had gotten a degree in design, draft, and architecture, and I wanted to do development. And I had a real estate license and trying to sell houses. And he's like, "Well, you're a businessman, so figure it out." So I started reading about the music business and doing that, and I eventually started doing showcases. And this brother was going to take a position at Warner Brothers Records in marketing, and said, "Yo, let's form a company together because we can make a lot of money in the music business with this job I'm about to get." So that's how I kind of got into
That's
marketing,
how you
and I
got
liked
into
it.
marketing. Yeah.
You know, like I was doing events, marketing. A lot of marketing is events. So I was doing these showcases at different clubs around the city: Sweetwaters, Honeysuckle West, Demerara's,
Demerara's,
like
Damn, Demerara's.
and I started doing that because I couldn't get the attention of the A&Rs at the record labels when I was calling trying to get this music that
Create
my brother
your
had.
own event.
So I put together a showcase and asked them to like to be judges or like different hosts, you know, to kind of appeal to their sense of self-importance,
Right.
to come and support my thing. And so that was going well. So I had a lot of label heads and stuff like that coming to my events. And then my man was starting a good job and look for a marketing company to take some accounts at the places he was going to be going and having access to budgets. So I was like, yeah, I got a marketing company right here. I'm a marketing company.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a marketing company. Right.
We started, and that's how I got into
That's
marketing.
how
And I
it all started.
I like working with my mind. I like working with my brain. I like
Yeah, marketing is strategy.
Strategy.
Marketing is strategy
Yeah.
and ideas.
Strategy and ideas.
Knowing your audience and
right.
You could be creative, but you may not have some of those the strategized tactics to get it to the next level.
Man.
You know.
And marketing strategies always change, and strategies
Yeah.
are based on the conditions of the environment of who it is, your demographics
genres,
you trying to
so many-
reach.
Yeah.
And so, wow.
Yeah, the demographics, just like
always
Lisa said, the
Review
demographics.
and revise
Always
your strategy
review.
and
There
your
you
plan.
go.
and
I
you
try
have
to-
to
As you move
constantly
forward.
change it.
I try to do it
It evolves.
sometimes, every now and then, you know, but I just can't. Like,
You gotta
there's
pivot.
like
You gotta
certain
be
aspects of it that I just,
prepared to pivot, man.
You got to be prepared to pivot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
that's
gotta
a good one.
well, in business in general, but more so in business in general, but more so in when it's just straight marketing. It's like you gotta like
You got to manage.
be
moves. You gotta
change
manage
the
the moves.
form, like you know.
You have to manage the moves. Absolutely.
So how you been, Lisa?
As far as
Just as far as life,
I think
because we
I'm
had
okay.
a powerful
I'm
conversation
actually,
last time you was here.
I'm pretty exhausted over the weeks because of the personal things I've been dealing with mommy.
Right.
But you know, I still keep going. Like Sunday, there was supposed to be something going on, and every last Sunday of the month we do Radio One World Fest.
Right.
You know, and this past Sunday we had a wonderful show. We had different chefs with various cuisines. And,
nice.
They're all millennials, and they brought food. They did 2 dishes.
Really?
Oh my God! And we were eating. Listen,
delicious.
it was what it was. I took.
He said delicious like 4 or 5 times.
I took some home.
Show. It was a good show.
I took some home. I was eating, and I was at some point I was like wasn't even talking anymore. I was like,
Right. Not even asking questions.
So, you know, that's something that we do, and I wasn't gonna go because I had to be there for my mom. But then when they weren't scheduling her, I was like, "What time are we leaving?"
Right.
You know, and so keeping myself busy is always positive. Let me go back to that word for me. So I mean, I did a poetry show a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I had an opportunity to host a
Nice.
poetry pre-show at the Black Spectrum Theater, and that was my first time hosting. And I kind of just did it off the top because that's what I do,
Okay.
and it went really, really well. So that was exciting for me.
Yeah,
That was-
sometimes when you do things off the cuff and you don't plan it,
I tend to do that a lot.
for some reason
That's
it
why I'm
comes
glad
out.
I have Kamel, because Kamel kind of keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
Because Kamel's a reader, and you know, readers are leaders.
Right.
So he will read and do the research and stuff like that. I may have a snippet,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, I'm going off the top. I'm like, that's how I flow, for real. That's really how I flow. But there's always some sort of a balance. So
Yeah. In one world, I mean, you guys, of course, cater to the West Indian culture a lot, and I applaud y'all for that because I think there's a lot of people that don't really cater to them as much, even in the music industry. I feel like there's a poor lack of those guys make great music. You know, I listen to soca and reggae, and their music is global, worldwide.
Absolutely.
I just feel like they have very poor knowledge of understanding the performing rights and what their music is worth and collecting royalties and things of that nature. And I just feel there should be some more people just like you guys that could cater to them. You know, the biggest artists, soca artists these days, just doesn't understand some of the aspects. I mean, they do understand that they do a show, they get paid, but they don't understand the royalties, the performing rights and stuff, and the mechanical rights and stuff. Because that was my area when I used to work in the music industry back in the days.
Okay.
I used to work for ASCAP,
Okay, on the publishing side, right?
Koch Entertainment, and the
Absolutely.
and EMI, the
Right.
performing rights side. So I used to help a lot of these guys like Capleton. You know,
Okay.
this guy's
come
great.
from Jamaica,
Yeah,
from
you know,
Pontoon.
I used to talk to this guy, like
Right.
good artist, man. He's always on stage doing something
him.
big,
Oh, it's at the time of
killing the stage. Mad people come see him. Like
Love
his
him.
performances is just crazy, but he knows nothing when it comes to the performing rights side.
Right. Yeah, I was just made aware of a situation like that of an artist, a very large artist that all you guys would know, and I'm not going to say his name, through our partner, one of our people on our executive board, Mr. Ruel Burford, who's born in Jamaica, raised in London, now here in America. And he brought it to my attention about an artist who needs some help, man. And I was surprised when he said, yo, you know, people reached out to me and said, can we do this and that or whatever for them administratively, basically holding them down on the business side
Right.
of certain things that they felt need to be straightened. I was just surprised to find out an artist of that magnitude was in that position.
Yeah.
Hopefully things, that was actually a couple months ago, and we've had some discussions, but hopefully even whether we help them or not, things will turn around for them because, as you said, a lot of artists, they just want to create, man.
They wanna
just wanna
create, yeah.
and they don't pay attention to the business side. And if they don't get the right people around them to help them early on in their career, they can lose.
They get
the
robbed.
Rights, get robbed. Basically, lose rights to some very important and groundbreaking creative endeavors that they managed to put out without.
And
Because
that's-
a lot of times we don't want to
properly.
cross the T's and dot the I's,
And
but
that's unfortunate.
you know, but you gotta sit.
It's been going on forever.
And I find myself, you know, I've learned how to get still from being a businessman.
Yeah.
Because once business got to a point where it was just like crazy taking off, now I'm like, yo, with that comes a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
And so I'm a natural hustler. I'm used to hustling,
That's true.
moving and shaking.
Yeah.
But then once things get to a point where now you got all these legislative branches like, yo, man, all right, we need this a
Right,
certain way
right.
from you.
Right.
Then now I'm in the office for hours and I'm like,
Trying
oh,
to figure it out.
God,
Yeah.
I didn't get into it for this. But that's
that
what
has
it
to be
is.
done.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So either you do it, or you get a team of
Or you get a
people
team of
that
people.
know what they're doing
Yeah.
and that you can trust. Which again, that's another difficult thing to do, to trust, because you're like, if I'm not going to do it, it's not going to be done right, and that can cripple us as well. Because there is someone that can do it, but it's just a matter of finding that right person.
It's that right person.
And
Because
that's not always
yeah.
easy.
Because
And then even with that, you still gotta,
oversee it.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
to,
still
you
gotta
have to make
oversee
sure
it. Yeah.
yeah, you still, you
it's
know.
reported back to you
Right.
properly and you're abreast of it.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
'Cause you gotta make sure they doing what.
You gotta make sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man! And I went in the office today, man. It was like 4 straight hours. I didn't even walk out of it. Like just straight, like ta-da. Okay, let me do this. Boom, boom. And I was busting stuff out. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm for hire. I'm just
I'm telling you, I applaud that
My
one
secretary gonna watch this and be like, "What she say?"
because I like the logo because I'm looking at you guys.
Logo's dope.
The logo is dope.
Yeah.
You know, with the globe,
Yeah.
the logo is. I mean, it's really catchy.
And then the hands with
And
all
the
of
hands.
the colors.
And it's
This
straight-
is mean.
And one of the things too, this is hard. One of the things too about marketing, like you gotta have a marketing brain to even think of something like this, you know. Because one thing I do know is that you focus on One World Fest, but you want that logo to kind of stand out, you know. So you don't even have to see the One World. You just look at the logo and it just tells you what
know
it is,
Yeah.
you know.
Bro, I walked around with that logo. I had it in my head, and I just needed to get a graphics person to put it together for me. I talked to a couple of people about it, and I kind of drew something out, and then I got with my man, Mr. Lachi, and I told him what it was, and he hooked it up for
One
me.
shot.
And I walked around with it as a graphic in my phone for months, just showing people, yo, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what I'm getting ready to do. Right? This is the One World Fest.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about to do. See
This
this
is
logo?
dope.
Boom, boom, boom. And that was the only representation I had, but it went from my head to my phone to that.
And this is like
And then the shirts.
and then the shirts is crazy. Like this is something like you see on the floor and you literally pick it up.
no question.
Oh yes.
Cause that's what I'm looking at. Like
Oh, yes.
sometimes you walk and you see someone on the floor, you be like,
Yeah. Or you see it down in some place.
or you
gonna-
see it
you're
down
gonna
in
pick-
some place.
gonna
Yeah,
pick it up, right.
It's like you gonna pick it up and try to figure out what is it. You know,
www.oneworldfest.global.
this is
You
dope.
got to check them out.
And our
Go support.
hashtag, the power of many together as one.
One. This
So
is dope.
that's what all the cultures, the power of many together as one. And, even in the beginning of the show, you said iron sharpens iron, right?
No doubt.
Steel
So,
sharpens steel.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the power of many together as one, us all coming together, no matter where we're from, no matter what the culture, because there's something you can learn from us and something we can learn from you.
So what do y'all have that's coming up that we need to know about, that y'all need to let the listeners know about? Is there anything coming up? What's on the horizon? What are you currently doing now, or that's coming down the pike?
Our very next thing is the next radio show, One World Fest Global. We're doing a radio One World Fest Global.
Okay.
Live streamed every month on We Say What They Can't Radio. Our next show is going to be about music. Right now, we're definitely just using that platform to give people an idea of what they can expect to see at the One World Fest, which we're planning for next year. So
It's gonna be
like
music
we said,
there.
we just They ate food because One World First is about, again, culture. And we have a formula which we call a family formula, or FMLA formula.
FMLA, okay.
That's how you display culture, right? FMLA, family, food, music, language, and art. It's the FMLA formula. You know what I mean? And with some technology thrown in there.
Right.
So that's why we just had a food show on the radio. So we had chefs from, as you said, Guyana with Guyanese background, Jamaican background. We had a chef from Tibet
with
you know what
Asian
I'm saying?
fusion.
Wow.
Chef Naima from Tibet.
Oh,
and,
yes.
I'm hungry.
You know,
great.
I'm hungry
people from
right now.
Criterion brought in some Bottega wine, some
Yes.
Wow.
Prosecco for us to sample with the food
Natasha.
choices, and it was everything was delicious. It was a go. So next month we're gonna be doing a show on music, and it's gonna be called music, the language of freedom. And the reason why we're gonna be doing it like that is because we're gonna bring in people who sing and or rap in different languages besides English. So right now we're talking to
that's
this
deep.
gentleman just came over from Bollywood with some stuff, some real hot Indian stuff from that side. And I got this Native American cat that's probably gonna be coming on and rapping, you know, in his native language as well as in English. And we're talking to a couple other people that we're gonna line up. So, you know, we just come on once a month and try to address normally topics that are global in scope and local in impact.
Oh, okay.
You know?
That sounds dope.
Yeah, I'm tuning in.
And after that, we're gonna be doing something with Carver Bank. We just did they asked us to do an in-branch initiative, in-branch initiative at the bank out in Brooklyn, and now we've completed one, and that was on women millennial entrepreneurs.
Okay.
There was a panel discussion that we put together and brought some great women in to talk about what they're doing in business and helping and servicing people. Lisa moderated that panel and went great.
Oh yeah, I didn't make it there for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
She
was-
told
it
me
was
about
great,
that.
and they've asked us to do 2 more.
Yes.
So we have another one
wow.
coming up in
It was standing
January.
room only. Let me just say
Standing
that.
room only.
That's
Nice.
all packed, huh?
It's great.
And the next one is going to be about business and personal taxes.
Taxes on
Get that up as taxes.
right.
And come
Oh
up,
yeah,
Get it together.
I know
Business
about
taxes,
that one.
Get your receipts
personal
together.
Tax
taxes.
time.
I could
Get
be.
your receipts together.
I'm always dealing with taxes.
Yeah.
Shoot, I got tax letters on my desk as we speak, sitting right there next to my laptop.
Absolutely. We're going
Oh,
to be talking
goodness.
about that, putting a forum together and giving folks some information about that and the best way to approach it from a business or personal. And then they asked us to do another one on immigration in March or April.
Oh, that
And that's
immigration
one
one
of
is
the
gonna be good.
topics that as an organization is very close to us because, you know, this is a country, man, and a nation of immigrants.
Yeah.
You know, whether you came here voluntarily or not, you came from somewhere else. And, you know, we want to continue this.
Did you hear that?
welcome from all over the
Orange orangutan.
Yeah.
You know,
He ain't hear
so-
that.
He ain't hear that.
He ain't hear
The
that.
orange orangutan.
We've done shows. We've done a couple of shows on immigration. Radio
Yeah.
on Welfare Global, and we have people come in and talk about their experience. One young lady was from Zimbabwe. She came here on the college scholarship, and she came here when Obama had first got in office. So we just asking about the difference in the political climate between what it was then when she first got here, and what it is now.
And what it is now.
And she's, and so
Somebody
that's very interesting.
whose wife parents just got their papers.
True. Right.
She's an immigrant.
They were immigrant.
His Trump's father's from Karlstadt, Germany. He came over as an immigrant.
Yeah.
You want to know what? See, he got that. Trump got that German stuff in his blood.
Oh yeah.
That's why he act
That's
like
why
that.
he's
Oh yeah.
They're from
definitely.
Karlstadt,
Yeah.
Germany.
Karlstadt.
And if you look up the
Hitler.
the conditions that was around what was going on in Karlstadt, why his parents had to flee, it's the same conditions why they fled there.
That's a
It's
fact.
why these people are coming from Honduras here.
Yeah.
You hypocritical bastard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how you do? He doesn't have
That's
any
But
like
he's not the sharpest knife in the
connection
drawer.
to reality.
No, he doesn't. But he's a
That's how your
Yeah.
parents came over.
That's
Your
a fact.
grandparents. That's how your grandparents came
That's
over.
that's a fact.
They was fleeing violence, and that's what these people are doing. These people are saying, "Yo, we can't go back. They're gonna kill us."
So,
That's crazy.
so what's interesting about that?
I'm sorry,
is that-
brother. You know, I just
it's
you know.
deep. And even
It's
the
true.
point you made earlier was interesting about that is that you know, that's me like it's about the concept or whatever. So when I did start to put together the festival and put together a team in 2015, like 2015, going into 2016 or whatever, right around that time the primaries had started.
Right.
And the Democrat, you know, it was Hillary and Bernie and them running against a very contentious campaign.
I remember
on the
that.
Democratic side.
yeah.
Trump running against a very contentious campaign on the Republican side,
Disrespect
where he was
to
saying,
the party.
ban the Muslims and shut out
Yeah,
the
I remember that.
Mexicans and
Mhm.
so forth and so on. That was his platform.
Yeah.
And so as the political season, the socio-political climate in this country kind of started to change and different things like that. And I'm putting together this festival. I'm saying like, wow, this is deep. So I'm trying to put together something, you know, a platform where people could come together. And right now I'm watching this country being torn apart
We need
by
it.
our so-called leaders.
Right.
You know, so we may very well be in a zeitgeist at the time with this. It may be a very timely initiative. I thought to myself, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The time is divine. Like it's
Absolutely.
divine
We'll see
timing.
what happens.
What you guys are doing.
So that
Yeah.
was very interesting.
You was called to do this, and it's funny because I was also inspired to do this show as a result of the political climate because I fell into somewhat of I don't want to say depression, but I went through a rough couple of months after he got elected.
Just saddened by the.
It was rough for me. And then I said, because first of all, I'm like, how could the same country who elect Obama
You know,
turn around and elect him,
And
Like-
elect him.
right?
yeah.
The schizophrenia of America. And then, so I went through, brother, I'll
Actually
be
saw that
honest,
coming, though.
I went through a
Yeah.
rough couple of
Absolutely.
months.
I saw it coming.
You saw it coming?
Right after Obama got elected. I thought to myself, we celebrating a little too hard, man, and we don't understand the nature of this country. And at some point, there's
We
going to
ain't
be a
ready.
backlash
Yeah.
for we got our president, and of course I understand the euphoria that we had, but in my mind, I just
Other
thought to
people were
myself,
furious
right,
at our
Yes.
joy.
and we are numbers wise still a majority. And at some point, that silent majority that he came out talking about, I was like,
Right.
those were the people that's going to backlash.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's basically what's going on. So when he came out using that code language, Trump said he's talking to the
Yes.
silent majority out there.
Yeah.
It's the same people that Richard Nixon was talking to
Yes.
when he was running.
No
So I
doubt.
said, silent majority. I've heard that before.
Right.
And yep.
Wow, that's
This
crazy.
is code for. I'm talking to all y'all folks that's mad about what happened over the last 8 years in this country. We about to make America great. We going backwards. We ain't coming forwards.
Yeah.
We
And
going
it is-
backwards.
and
We're
it
gonna
is.
take it
Going
back
back.
to what it was before that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I kind of saw that backlash coming.
No doubt.
And I
That's
wasn't
insane.
surprised at all when he got elected, man.
Well, you know, we are bringing awareness to what's taken on, what's happening in the country, in the world. And we've had shows on Radio 1 World Fest, like we had a survivor of the Rwandan genocide. And that was an incredible show. And she's,
It was our first
Wow.
show. It was on genocide.
it was powerful. And she saw her family killed. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen the story, like
Marie
with the
Claudine
Hutus and the
Mukamabano.
Hutus and the
Yeah, the Hutus. Yeah.
Hutus and there's another one.
Tutsis.
Tutsis.
The Hutus and the Tutsis.
Right. And so she was a survivor of that time.
Wow, she
Like,
saw her family killed. Wow.
and she's actually the peace ambassador for the United Nations.
Right. To
And
Rwanda, right.
we did a town hall. We had a show on immigration, and of course, we have to constantly revisit these things because we want to share that information with people out there, to maybe send them some places that they don't know about, try to help them to find some services, and also we're learning ourselves.
Yeah.
And with our advisory board, we have a group of wonderful millennials who are very positive, and they're making moves in their own right.
Right.
And so we're here to learn from them so we could be the best support for them, because they're facing different challenges than we faced.
Yeah.
So it's tough, and
It's
we
tough,
need
yeah.
and we need to be there for them again and learn from them so we could be the best possible support.
Right. So that's why our advisory board are young people, because we're putting together this festival and we're targeting the young people because we want to talk to the people that are going to create and help shape the future of this country. But as you may be able to tell, none of us are millennials. So therefore, we didn't want to say, hey, we're putting together this event for millennials, and here you guys go.
Look, I'm old school. You old
We've been
school
called
still?
to
No.
do it, but- So our advisory board consists of some great young millennials, and
Yes.
we wanted them to come tell us what should the One World Fest Global look like to them. What does it mean to you guys? Yeah, we want to put it together. You know, we have the idea, and we have the vision for what it should look like, but it can become even that much more crystal clear with your input.
Tell them about our advisory board. Give them a little background, a little snippet about each one of them.
Our advisory board consists of my godson, which is actually Lisa's son.
Okay.
Mr. Bryce Valley, great triple threat performer, actor, dancer, singer. Just graduated from Marymount College with his degree in theater and performing, musical theater. And he's great, and he's out on the road. He's never here anymore. Ever since he got out of college, he ain't been home for a couple of weeks, so he's in Virginia now. My stepdaughter Nicole has an organization called Nicole Russell Precious Dreams Foundation, and she's doing a lot of great work. She's recently featured in Old Magazine, NBC, the
nice.
Today Show. She's just doing a
book tour.
Now she just wrote a great book called Everything a Band-Aid Can't Fix. She just had a
we
great
need to get her on the show.
Bring her
No
here.
question.
book signing and
I like the
big book
title.
signing in Barnes and
Yeah.
Nobles. She's talking to. She's done great work with the Precious Dreams. They provide comfort items to children and found
Precious
in
Dreams.
transition. PreciousSdreams.org.
Nice.
We have Mr. Malachi Davis, who's that's my little nephew right there. And he's he just graduated from college with his degree in creative writing. He's writing a blog for the Cana Foundation, and now he's going to start writing some stuff for One World Fest Global. And he's just a smart, great, bright young kid who I'm blessed to have with us. We have Punch Dollar. Punch Dollar Entertainment.
Punch?
That's my little man's right there. And he's a brand. He has Punch Dollar Entertainment. He does events all over the country. He's a brand ambassador for Bel Air Champagne.
Nice.
And they're doing their 4-year anniversary this Sunday, and the city going to be in the building for that. And then last but not least, my son, Oliver.
OJ.
So you got some young people.
He's,
Right.
You got some young
has
people
a
with some young
website,
ideas.
Some millennium heads.
And they're dope.
Nocturnal.com. He does red carpet events. It's a lifestyle entertainment.
Nice.
He just got finished interviewing Tyler Perry,
Nice.
Oprah Winfrey.
Denzel.
Nice.
He's interviewed Denzel Washington,
Viola.
Viola
Nice.
Davis.
Nice.
He just did Mark.
Cuban.
Mark Cuban?
No. Marky Mark from the guy, the actor, my man.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark
Wahlberg,
Wahlberg.
and
Yeah.
Burns, and
Yeah.
the movie they got out now. He
Yeah.
just sat and interviewed them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be featuring One World Fest on the Nocturnal. Check that out, nocturnal.com.
Nice.
And
Nocturnal with a K.
real great bunch of young people.
I
that,
love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love
You need
to
to have
yeah,
them
that-
on your show.
And let me tell you something.
Gotcha.
I
Seriously.
love to
I
see.
love
We
that.
talking about positive.
Yeah.
And when people be like, "Yo, our young people," this, and I be like, "Yo, I don't want to hear that."
Yeah, man.
Everybody ain't messing up.
That's
I
right.
got
Everybody-
a house full. All of my kids are good.
Yeah.
I got
Right.
4 kids here.
That's awesome.
All of my kids, and none of them ain't like me.
Yeah. Family of businesses.
Ain't none of them juvenile delinquents
Oh my God.
That's
getting arrested.
that's a fact.
None of my kids. None of my kids are
Amen.
nothing like I was.
Yeah.
Amen.
And I bump into dudes who we was like the craziest of the crazy, and all of our kids are like,
A great, amazing kid.
Right.
man, we was
Yeah,
like
that's a fact.
dogs.
That's a fact.
Out there,
Wow.
and I bump and I see their kids, and their kids, our kids had. My daughter goes to Lawrence Woodme Academy.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I'm saying? So my daughter her
She has
experience.
different types of friends. And she's like,
You get what I'm saying?
her head is somewhere else. She's on a different
Christ
level.
King High School.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Christ the King,
they
great
didn't
schools,
even
yeah.
have- She wasn't on the Ave and on the Boulevard.
That's based due to my wife though. She went to Catholic school, and so she's like, we
Yeah.
talked about that. I was like, well, I went to public school, and she's like, that's why kids going to Catholic school. So my son,
Listen,
my daughter.
my son was, no, my
But
son
yeah,
was in private
exactly.
You know, it's like
Don't get it twisted though.
You know-
Brooklyn Tech High School, we still represent.
You know what it is
Yeah.
too.
My
Like-
sister went. Brooklyn Tech was a good school. My sister
Yeah.
went there. She
At a
was-
young
I went to
age,
public
you know,
school.
these
It
kids
was
get influenced
I was
very
never
easy.
in private
You know,
school.
Absolutely.
they get influenced very easy. I think back when we was growing up, it was a lot much different. You know,
We didn't
Well, it
have
was a
no
different
phones
era.
either.
We didn't have-
no
yeah, it
cell
was a different
phones,
era. That's
no
true.
beepers, no. Well,
Yeah.
It was, well, yeah, 80s, 90s. It was different in the sense of, you know, hip hop bursting on the scene,
that.
and then you had the crack cocaine era,
right.
which just changed Queens. Like, you know, it was a whole different. Like, you know, like we be riding down Merrick and Guy Brewer and stuff like that. I used to tell my kids these streets didn't look like this. Like it was cruise on corners.
especially Jamaica Avenue. You see how it look right now?
You
Totally different.
Mr. Lee's, you remember Mr. Lee's?
Mr. Lee's.
Listen, so
Margarita's Pizza.
oh, forget about it. You know, going up in Generals, getting the clothing, it's
different.
You
Yeah.
know, the Carhartt. So, you know, yeah, they it's a different experience now, and for the better. The streets shouldn't be like that anyway.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
you know, I love to hear that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
you got a fantastic team, man.
Fantastic
I'm
team.
blessed to have great kids around me, man.
Tell people how they can get in touch with y'all before we close this out, man. I want people to be able to find y'all.
You can find us at oneworldfest.global. That's the number one. Worldfest.global, GLOBAL. You can find us at One World Fest Global on Instagram, at One World Fest, Twitter, at One World Fest Global on Facebook.
Well, listen, it's been another great episode, right? Thanks for checking us out. Camille Ellis, One World Fest, Lisa Angel Ray.
Absolutely.
Lisa.
My girl, she came back again, and we got to chop it up about some things.
Yeah.
Listen, make sure you check them out. And, you know, remember, we love you, and there's nothing you could do about it. Peace.